Meanwhile, in Sri Lanka, the Muslim community is fearing a backlash. They're already facing it, in fact. The recent revelations have forced many Muslim citizens of Sri Lanka to go into hiding, reports say. Just a day after the Islamic State claimed responsibility, Muslims in some areas started facing a backlash. Some reports say that gangs of Christian men, quote-unquote, smashed homes and beat up people. Some Muslims have received death threats. They were forced to lay low and avoid public spaces. Security has been stepped up at mosques. Armed soldiers with assault rifles have been deployed there. Sri Lanka's biggest Muslim organization had to announce unprecedented measures to protect citizens. Muslim women have been asked to not wear burqas. They even urged people to pray at home today, a Friday, rather than going to the mosque. The statement that came out said that this is in solidarity with their Christian brethren who were killed in those attacks. Despite the advice, some Muslims did step out for Friday prayers. But Islamophobia is on the rise in Sri Lanka. That's what one section says. The other says that people are scared. The recent terrorist attacks have inflamed communal tensions. The Ahmadi Muslims in particular, a community that fled from Pakistan and found refuge in Sri Lanka, feels that it is on target. More than 200 of them fled Negombo in Sri Lanka this week. This is after a massive explosion ripped through the St. Sebastian Church in Negombo. Soon after the attack, they were confronted by angry mobs. The police and military intervened to protect them. They're now living in another part of the country.
Camps, because their worries still is going on, because he has women, children and some pregnant ladies. And they are much worried because yesterday they saw their own eyes. There are some mobs came from the local villages. They are trying to attack, but police, as earlier I mentioned, that police people are protect us. They stand in front of this gate and everything is safe.
The Ahmadis have faced repeated attacks in Pakistan. They remain on target of hardline Islamist groups who do not consider them to be Muslims. They fled from the terrorist attacks in Pakistan and now they face the same threat in Sri Lanka. They have nowhere to go. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has assured to protect them.
This has mainly, some of them have become suspicious of foreigners, as they said, not as Muslims per se, but there are Muslims in Negombo. And in the heat of the moments, a few of them have been attacked. UNHCR is acting and we are getting them out of Negombo. We'll have to get some more security for them wherever they stay.
This is still a developing story. The gun battle is still on in eastern parts of Sri Lanka between the military and some suspects linked to the Sunday attacks. And this is a story that we'll come back to through the course of the night here on Wion. For the moment, let's take a look at what's happening in the Indian electoral scene. This is India Election Watch. It was an action-packed day, and day two rather, for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He was in his constituency of Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. He filed his nomination papers. In 2014, the Prime Minister had won this seat with a thumping majority. This time, he's aiming for an even bigger margin. The BJP is putting its full organizational might behind the Prime Minister's campaign in Varanasi. It was a massive show of strength. A galaxy of leaders from the BJP and allies from the NDA were present, not to mention the large group of BJP supporters that was there to cheer him on. 4 people proposed Narendra Modi's candidature. This included the former principal of the Banaras Hindu University's Women's College and the chief cremator of Varanasi. Here is what the Prime Minister said after filing his papers.
मुझे जो आशीर्वाद दिए हैं, एक प्रकार से कल शाम को 5 बजे से लेकर अगर रात के 4-6 घंटे निकाल दें, शायद इतना लंबा रोड शो 12-15 घंटे का रोड शो एक काशीवासी ही कर सकते हैं। ये बाबा की नगरी, मां गंगा के आशीर्वाद, भारत के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए काशीवासी संकल्पबद्ध है। ये जो प्यार, ये दुलार, ये आशीर्वाद काशीवासियों ने दिए हैं, मैं हृदयपूर्वक उनका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं।
Earlier today, he offered prayers in a temple. On Thursday, he held a mega road show and performed the Ganga Aarti. It was a display of his popularity. Lakhs of supporters took to the streets. In fact, Prime Minister Modi took 2.5 hours to traverse the 7-kilometer route of the road show. his popularity in his constituency was quite visible. He remains the frontrunner to win this seat. Back in 2014, he had secured more than 6 lakh votes. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal came a distant second, defeated by a margin of more than 3 lakh votes. The show of strength in Varanasi will help the BJP's campaign across India. The images of lakhs of supporters chanting Modi's name leave an impression. The BJP hopes they will energize party workers all over India. It's not just the supporters. The presence of all NDA allies for this event is another masterstroke. It sends out a strong message. It projects the strength of the BJP and of the NDA, their alliance. It looks stable. It looks stronger compared to the fractured opposition. Do note that top leaders of the BJP made a beeline for Banaras for this event. The party wants to show that it stands united behind the Prime Minister. In terms of optics and messaging then, the Banaras Yatra has ticked all the boxes for Narendra Modi. Elsewhere, it was another day of drama. What else do you expect in elections? Before we get to the stories, let's bring you a rally roster. After filing his nomination, the Prime Minister addressed rallies in Siddhi and Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh. The BJP President Amit Shah campaigned in Rajasthan. The state has 25 seats, half of which are going to the polls in this phase on Monday. Congress President Rahul Gandhi covered 3 big states in one day: Bihar, Odisha and Maharashtra. Let's start with the Congress president then. Rahul calling Rahul. Rahul Gandhi picked out a boy from the crowd during his rally. As luck would have it, the chosen boy's name was also Rahul. So Rahul Gandhi, the Congress president, called Rahul the boy to the stage and he even promised him a job. And Shakespeare said, what's in a name?
मैं स्टेज से आपको कह देता हूँ, एक साल के अंदर बेटा तुम्हारा नाम क्या है? नाम क्या आपका? राहुल। ये देखो राहुल जी, आप आइए, स्टेज पे आइए। 10 लाख पंचायतों में युवाओं को रोजगार दिया जा सकता है। 1 मिनट में राहुल से नमस्ते कर लेता हूं पहले।
That was not the only headline that Rahul Gandhi made today. His flight experienced engine trouble. It was forced to return to Delhi. He took to Twitter to tell the world about it. And while the Congress chief was pointing out the lack of jobs, Prime Minister Modi appealed to women voters during his rally in Siddhi in Madhya Pradesh. He highlighted his government schemes to empower women. He also hailed the army's decision to employ women as jawans for the first time in India's history.
जन्म से लेकर जीवन के हर चरण में बेटियों और बहनों की रक्षा, सुरक्षा और सशक्तिकरण के लिए तमाम योजनाएं आज चल रही है। प्रसूता माता के पोषण के लिए 6,000 रुपये की सीधी मदद, अस्पतालों में सुरक्षित मातृत्व सुनिश्चित कराने की योजना, मुफ्त में टीकाकरण का अभियान, बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ अभियान, स्कूल और घर में शौचालय की सुविधा, माताओं बहनों को मुफ्त में गैस कनेक्शन, गरीबों को मिल रहे घर और उसका मालिकाना हक माताओं बहनों के नाम पर। ऐसी अनेक योजनाएं जो बेटियों को ध्यान में रखते हुए ही बनाई गई है। इतना ही नहीं, आपके इस चौकीदार ने पहली बार बलात्कार जैसे जघन्य अपराध के लिए फांसी की सजा का प्रावधान भी किया है। साथियों, इस चौकीदार को भारत की बेटियों पर पूरा विश्वास है। इसीलिए पहली बार देश की रक्षा सुरक्षा के अग्रिम मोर्चे पर बेटियों को तैनात करने का फैसला लिया गया है।
Of course, rallies are not the only way to communicate. Ask Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. He wrote another blog on Facebook and is making waves. The title is this: Has the Congress thrown it up? The contention is that the Congress has already lost the battle. The party and its leader Rahul Gandhi are 48 years behind schedule, he says. He also criticized Priyanka Gandhi Vadra's decision to skip Varanasi. In Bengal, TMC chief Mamata Banerjee took on Modi for calling her sticker Didi. She said the Prime Minister came to Bengal only for votes. She promised to give him a rasgulla from Bengal. A rasgulla made of soil and pebbles to break the BJP's teeth, she says. Who needs cinema and drama when there's such entertainment in politics? These are this Friday's Blockbusters. Come Monday, the fate of the candidates of 71 seats will be sealed in phase 4 of the Lok Sabha election. Yesterday, we discussed the top 5 battles in this phase. Today, we have 5 more. And top of our list is the battle for Ujiarpur in Bihar. The sitting MP Nityanand Rai of the BJP faces a tough test against the RLSP chief Upendra Kushwaha. It's a high-profile battle. Caste plays a crucial role. Nityanand Rai is from the Yadav community. Upendra Kushwaha represents the Keuris. Both these communities are in significant numbers in Ujiarpur, so expect caste-based polarization of votes. Who will it favor? The BJP. But it's not all hunky-dory for the BJP either. It faces anti-incumbency. Lack of jobs is a major issue. The BJP is allied with the JDU in Bihar, so anger against the state government also hurts the BJP. But Nitish Kumar will make all efforts to stop Upendra Kushwaha, who was once a disciple of Nitish Kumar. He quit the JDU in 2013. Kushwaha has vowed to teach a lesson to the BJP, but he'll have to account for the left. The left was once a dominant party in this constituency. They might split the anti-NDA vote, and that could be a decider in a contest of thin margins. Second on our list is a battle for Anantnag in Kulgam district in Jammu and Kashmir. It was once a Congress and National Conference bastion. Anantnag has alternated between the National Conference and the PDP since 1999. Now here's the thing to note. Anantnag voted in the third phase of this election. So why are we talking about this contest now? Because polling in Anantnag in one constituency will be spread out in 3 phases, the third, the fourth and the fifth. Mehbooba Mufti, the leader of the PDP, won the 2014 contest. It's a 4-way race and she's in the race again. National Conference has fielded a retired High Court judge, Hasnain Masoodi. The Congress has put up Ghulam Ahmad Mir. The BJP has fielded Sophie Yusuf. So who is the favourite? Last time Mehbooba Mufti won by a huge margin. She's in pole position thanks to National Conference and Congress both putting up a candidate separately. They are in alliance in the state but not across the state. It's a unique sort of an alliance. The understanding between these two parties is only for a few seats, but Mufti is facing severe criticism. Congress and National Conference have accused her of being responsible for extreme violence in South Kashmir because they say that she surrendered her party to the BJP. Besides the violence that has roiled the valley since 2014, the perennial issues of Article 370 and 35A still remain, and this could go down to the wire. Number 3 on our list. The battle for Unnao in Uttar Pradesh. The sitting MP Sakshi Maharaj of BJP faces former MP Anu Tandon of the Congress. The Gathbandhan has also put up a candidate, Arun Shankar Shukla. He belongs to the Samajwadi Party. It's a 3-way race now. Last time around, Sakshi Maharaj swept the polls. He got 5 lakh votes. But Samajwadi Party, the BSP and the Congress all polled 2 lakh votes. The Gathbandhan candidate will be hoping to cause an upset this time. That means bad news for the Congress. Seats like Unnao will be the test of political wisdom of the Congress party. Strong candidates can lose due to fragmentation of votes, especially in multi-cornered races. Sakshi Maharaj bargained hard for this seat, but he is on weak footing. Not just the rape case in Unnao, Maharaj's performance has been criticized heavily. It remains to be seen if he can survive this test. A defeat could mean an end to his political career. Fourth on the list, Etawah in Uttar Pradesh. A tricky contest, this one. Sitting MP Ashok Dohare is in the fray, but he has switched sides. Dohare won the seat for the BJP in 2014. Now he's fighting for the Congress. He's facing Ram Shankar Kataria, who represented Agra in the past. Social engineering is the key to win this constituency. It's a reserved seat. And Kataria is sure to give a fight to Dohare. Kataria is the chairperson of the National Commission for Scheduled Castes. He has represented the community in various forums, and that could work in his favor he could benefit from the presence of the Samajwadi Party's Kamlesh Katharia as well. Now remember, the Samajwadi Party has a strong presence here. They won it from 1999 to 2014 before losing it to the BJP. So this looks like their bastion. Plus the alliance with the BSP is bound to help the Gathbandhan candidate. It's a proper three-way race. And finally, fifth on our list, again from Uttar Pradesh, Kanpur, a high-profile battle. Senior Congress leader Shri Prakash Jaiswal pitted against Satyadev Pachauri of the BJP. Jaiswal held this constituency between 1999 and 2014, but he lost the seat to Murli Manohar Joshi of the BJP in 2014. Joshi has not been given a ticket this time around. Instead, the BJP has opted for a strong state-level leader, Satyadev Pachauri. The Gathbandhan candidate is unlikely to cause major harm to the Congress here. Traditionally, Kanpur has voted for national parties. Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi have both held rallies here and also road shows for Jaiswal. The Congress is smelling its chances in Kanpur, but Jaiswal would do well to not take Pachauri lightly. The two had faced off in 2004. Jaiswal won by a thin margin then. Kanpur has 3 lakh Muslim voters and 3 lakh Brahmin voters. It's too close to call. China's Global Outreach 2.0, aka the Second Belt and Road Summit. It took place in Beijing today. It's a 3-day affair. It began with China's President Xi Jinping's defense of his flagship project. The BRI is faced with a barrage of criticism from around the world for saddling countries with huge debt and lacking in transparency. Xi Jinping called BRI the project of the century. That was when it was launched 6 years ago. But now countries big and small are calling it debt trap diplomacy. In this context, the Chinese president addressed the opening session of the second forum meeting, and in his keynote address, he promised, quote-unquote, high-quality growth for everyone. Xi Jinping said that his country is committed to building sustainable, reasonably priced and inclusive infrastructure. What a choice of words. One that will help countries fully utilize their resources. Listen in.
不搞封闭排他的小圈子 把绿色作为底色，推动绿色基础设施建设、绿色投资、绿色金融，保护好我们赖以生存的共同家园。坚持一切合作都在阳光下运作，共同以零容忍的态度打击腐败。
Despite the marketing blitz, the second BRI summit is taking place with a lot less fanfare than the first one. That was in 2017. Still, heads of 37 different states and representatives from more than 150 countries are participating. Some of the prominent leaders in attendance include Russia's President Vladimir Putin and Italy's Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte. Italy recently became the first G7 member nation to join China's ambitious project. As part of the BRI, China is investing over $1 trillion in infrastructure projects, and that too across 3 continents, Asia, Africa and Europe. While China already has Asia and Africa covered, Italy's addition extends the BRI's tentacles to Europe. The United States, which has not joined the Belt and Road Initiative, has sent only junior officials to Beijing. India has chosen to boycott the summit again, mostly in protest against China's CPEC, that is the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. The CPEC project is where China is building a road to connect its Xinjiang province, a Muslim-majority province, to Gwadar port in Pakistan's Balochistan. Now, this project passes through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and India has stated categorically and repeatedly that this infringes upon the sovereignty of India. It's Indian territory, Gilgit-Baltistan. And while India is boycotting, Pakistan is busy in Beijing. China has been playing a crucial role in supporting Pakistan, both financially and diplomatically. And Prime Minister Imran Khan's speech at the opening ceremony was filled with tributes to China and the BRI.
I want to thank China and its leadership for their unwavering support for Pakistan. Our deep-rooted friendship, partnership, and brotherhood with China remains strong, resilient, and unbreakable, standing tall in the face of every challenge.
They call each other Iron Brothers. He even pitched for joint Belt and Road projects among member countries to promote tourism, to combat climate change and poverty. Imran Khan also spoke of establishing an Office of Anti-Corruption Cooperation to combat white-collar crime, which he said was devastating the world. No word on terrorism, though.
establish an Office of Anti-Corruption Cooperation to combat the scourge of white-collar crime. And white-collar crime has devastated the developing world.
A high-level ministerial delegation is accompanying Imran Khan on his second visit to China in 6 months. He will meet the Chinese leadership. He hopes to sign a free trade agreement with Beijing. Sources privy to the development say that China is likely to give an exemption to more than 300 products for import from Pakistan. Meanwhile, China has been distancing itself from all those BRI projects which have become unsuccessful. Officials in Beijing are reportedly drafting new rules on which projects can be named as Belt and Road, all in a bid to prevent brand BRI from being diluted and being linked to the growing list of failed projects. After 11 days of protests over climate change, environmental activists have announced a pause in their campaign today, but it's not over yet. Extinction Rebellion Group, which headed the protests, has vowed to continue with the agitation in the closing ceremony in London's Hyde Park.
Yeah, it's certainly not the end of anything, like in a big way, but it's just a sort of close to this part, and now we've all got lots of work to do. Unfortunately, lots of people need a rest, and then there's lots of work to be done, going back to communities, talking to broader base of people. Hopefully, after we've had all the media attention, and people organising around the country and around the world.
The Extinction Rebellion Group advocates non-violent civil disobedience. So what was the reason for the protest? The group wants Britain to declare a climate and ecological emergency, reduce greenhouse gas emissions to zero by 2025 and create a citizens' assembly to work with the government to address climate change. The protests disrupted normal life in London. Police have arrested more than 1,100 protesters in the last 11 days. Now, you may wonder why the police arrested people who want to force the government to take a decisive stand on an issue that matters to the entire world. Because these protesters targeted the financial hub of London. These protests were a spectacle. They wore LED signs reading climate emergency. They blocked the roads. They obstructed train carriages.
Well, I'm here because I have a belief that there is something greater than us which tells me that we don't own this earth. So I am just not accepting to be treated as though it is our just property to do with what the heck we like. And it's doing terrible damage. The current economy is now using 1.7 Earth. And we in the human population have been taught that this is the way of life. It isn't. It's a way of death. And that's because the more we take, the less there is for future generations, for the poorest peoples who are already got next to nothing, and the rest are other than human nature, which is as important as we are.
It's not just the locals. Greta Thunberg, the 16-year-old activist from Sweden, also took part in these protests. Now, climate change is a scientifically proven phenomenon. The impact is visible already. Rise in greenhouse gas emissions has in fact threatened to hurt several species. The melting of ice caps threatens to destroy parts of the world. The developed world is guilty of accelerating this damage. French President Macron even sought to hike taxes on fuel, but that did not go down well. The Yellow Vest protests were there for the world to see. US President thinks climate change is a hoax. He said it in so many words. The ignorance and procrastination is spread across the world. Here it's important to know who the contributors are. A list compiled by Carbon Brief shows that the US leads the pack of those who are behind climate change. It's followed by Russia, China, Germany, the UK, Japan, France, Canada, India and Poland. According to the IEA, China tops the list of global carbon dioxide emissions from fuel combustion. The US is number 2 on the list. Together, these countries contribute over 40% of global CO2 emissions. They discuss climate change in Davos summits, United Nations forums, but when it comes to action, no country really wants to walk the talk. The protesters get arrested, like in London, but put simply, it's one major problem threatening life on planet Earth.